Wait, what's a hex?
Words that could put a hex on you. Snap that neck on you.
I'm gonna hex that son of a bitch.
What's up, folks? Mike for CMCC Builds here with another 5-minute build,
A 5-minute game?
where we discuss build progression, key features, and highlight important character choices, all in 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes max.
For this episode, we're going to take on the Hexadin, the Hexblade Warlock Paladin multiclass, a build we've seen in detail in my Optimizing Critical Role series. I'm going to do a different take on this one, changing the subclass, progression, and level split. In this video, we'll answer the how and how I would build the Warlock Paladin multiclass, while the more detailed, longer build videos answer the why of those specific choices. These shorter build videos allow viewers to quickly see a build without having to carve out those 20 to 30 minutes to do so.
Who's got that kind of time, right?
Unlike the Ford Hexadin build, here we're going to explore the Hexblade dip, with the majority of levels in Paladin. This does a couple of things. It allows us to get those latter Paladin features, some of which are very powerful, as soon as possible. And it also forces us to pick a Paladin subclass that works well beyond level 6. Obviously, Paladin is an extremely powerful base class and none of the subclasses are weak, so any choice you make will be fine. But there are a couple of subclasses that do really well past level 7. Friendly reminder to like and comment below with any suggestions. Of course, if you enjoy these videos, subscribing and supporting the channel through my Patreon are always awesome, but not as awesome as you. Okay, enough of that. Let's jump into it. For the race, you gotta go custom lineage here. The main draw of the Hexadin over the Sorkadin is being single attribute dependent, even though that's not really true. So we want to pump that single stat, Charisma. Size doesn't matter
Say what now?
unless you plan to grapple a lot, which you will be able to do. Okay, not great, since we're not investing in strength. With a variable trait, take Dark Vision. It's worth more than the skill proficiency. For the primary feat, a lot of people like to go Polearm Master here. I usually like to go Polearm Master here too, but we're gonna forego Pam because 1, my Sorkadin and Pam Hexblade builds relied heavily on the feat. 2, I don't love the synergies with some of the later Paladin spells we'll get. 3, the best spell Hexblade gives us is the shield spell. If you're wielding a spear and a shield, you can't actually cast Warlock spells unless you take 3 levels in Warlock and get improved pack weapon, which will either not do or it'll take forever to get there. Either way, it's suboptimal. And 4, Longsword's gotta get some love too. Know what I mean? It's all spears, glaives, mauls, and greatswords with melee characters in 5e. Let's spread that out a bit. So here, we're gonna take Warcaster. Advantage on concentration saves is big for a paladin because so many of the good paladin spells require concentration, even the smite spells. You can cast somatic components with your hands full, so that handles our Hexblade shield issue, and we can also cast a spell to replace an opportunity attack. This also combos really well with something like the command spell or Eldritch Blast. For the abilities, take a 15 in strength so you can wear heavy armor, a 10 dexterity so we're not losing every initiative roll, 14 constitution, feel free to bump that to 15 and drop dex to 8. 14 is a bit low for a melee character, but with heavy armor, a shield, spell, and a steady source of temporary hit points, it's not as important on this build. 8's in intelligence and wisdom, and of course a 15 in charisma, which bumps to 17 with the racial ASI. For the background, fill the gaps of your party or your character concept, and with the equipment, take chainmail, but get plate as soon as possible. Grab a shield and a longsword, and place your paladin emblem on that shield so you can cast through it via the spellcasting focus mechanics. At level 1, Paladin. Proficiencies don't matter much to this build, but athletics and intimidation fit well and allow you to grapple a bit as well as be useful outside of combat. The primary reason to take Paladin first is for heavy armor proficiency, which you will utilize immediately with this character. At level 2, dip into Warlock and take Hexblade, of course. This is a Hexadin. Undead Warlock can work really well, especially with the Paladin subclass we're taking, but Hexblade's Curse doubling the chance of criticals, the shield spell, and Hex Warrior allowing charisma for attacks and damage is just too much for nearly any Paladin to pass up. For Warlock spells, take Eldritch Blast and Minor Illusion. Eldritch Blast is great on a Paladin who basically has one major weakness, a lack of ranged options. Eldritch Blast solves that right out of the gate, and if we decide to go deeper into Warlock, it only gets better. For first level spells, shield of course. We're here for shield. I also like Hex here. Hellish Rebuke is another good option for a reaction spell attack, but I don't like using my spell slots for a one-off on damage, and that reaction can be used for opportunity attacks that won't eat our spell slots. Don't forget that Eldritch Blast does work with Warcaster as long as you target only that one creature. Moving along, back into Paladin. Go straight Paladin for 7 more levels. For the fighting style, take Dueling to get a +2 for each longsword attack. With the Sacred Oath, you may have guessed it, we're going with the Conquest Paladin. First, thematically, it's one of the best fits to multiclass with Hexblade, but mechanically, it's one of the best Paladin subclasses to go deep into Paladin because of the fear synergies with the class. At level 4, take Fey Touch Charisma to bump Charisma to 18 and get the Misty Step spell. Teleportation is a minor weakness of the Paladin, so shoring that weakness up while rounding off Charisma is great. For the additional spell, Silvery Barbs is the way to go. A strong reaction option to use when an opportunity attack doesn't present itself. Extra attack, Aura of Protection, and then Aura of Conquest are strong features that we wanted ASAP. And at level 8, max Charisma by character level 9. Not bad. At this point, you're probably facing a lot of flying and teleporting creatures that makes it difficult to engage in melee. So we'll hop back into Warlock to strengthen our ranged options. With the 2 Warlock invocations, take Agonizing Blast to really beef up the damage of Eldritch Blast, soon to be 3 beams next level. And I like Grasp of Hadar here. Repelling Blast works multiple times per round, so it's generally better, but on this build you want to pull enemies close, not push them away, so Grasp it is. And from here on out, we're sticking with Paladin. Aura of Courage protects you and your allies from being frightened, all while the level 7 Aura of Conquest is locking enemies down that are frightened of you via spells and the Conquering Presence Channel Divinity. At 11, improve Divine Smite to get an additional D8 on every attack. At 12, I like the Alert feat. That 0 initiative score is not good, and rolling a higher initiative to blast out the Fear spell and lock down enemies to open combat is a strong option, so that +5 does work for us. At level 16, take Inspiring Leader, which gives up to 6 friendlies 23 to 25 temporary hit points, which is a lot of hit points every short rest. If you have Twilight Clerics or Artillerist Artificers in your group, then go with something else here. And finally, the Capstone. One of the main reasons we stuck with Paladin for 18 levels is getting that aura out to 30 feet. Massive.
Oh, come on.
Let's go ahead and dive into those Paladin spells. At level 1, Armor of Agathis and Command are auto-prepped. Both spells are great and should be used. Once you get Inspiring Leader, the Armor of Agathis value does decrease as there is direct conflict there. Bless, Cure Wounds, Shield of Faith, and Thunderous Smite are good to great options. Second level, Hold Person and Spiritual Weapon are auto-preps. Spiritual Weapon is a great bonus action option, especially if you're dealing with ranged enemies. This is one reason we didn't want the anti-synergy with Polearm Master. Aid is fantastic, and Magic Weapon if you don't have any. Warding Bond is a good option, and more importantly, it's concentration free. So many concentration spells. Find the ones that aren't and use them. Third level, Bestow Curse and Fear are auto-prep spells. Use Fear, lock down those enemies. It's a great spell, and even better on a Conquest Paladin. Aura of Vitality, Revivify is almost an auto prep on any build that has access to it, and Spirit Shroud, which is kind of the poor man's Spirit Guardians, but it is an upgrade from Hex. 4, Dominate Beast and Stone Skin as auto preps. Stone Skin kind of sucks, especially because of its material component cost, but it does have great synergy with Armor of Agathis. Banishment is a powerful spell that can win encounters. Death Ward should be rest cast whenever possible, and of course, find Greater Steed. Must have a Greater Steed. 5th level, Cloud Kill and Dominate Person are auto prep spells, and Summon Celestial can be a strong option. Phew, that's it. That's the build. Dark and powerful. Scare everyone, defeat anything that stands in your way. See you here next time, folks.
Goodbye, Sir Jamie.